Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's awake after lunch. I want to talk to you today about the Weather Channel and the Weather Channel and how we operate our company and how we use xMatters. My name is Michael Belfoure. I'm not sure how many were here for the panel interview earlier, but I'm the Director of IT Operations at the Weather Channel. I run the Global Technology Operations Center, and we are the Tier 1 organization for all support across the channels. Hey, John, I'm missing stuff up here. Sorry to interrupt. The Weather Channel, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Weather Channel, know about the Weather Channel, maybe use our application. We started out in 1982 as a 24-hour-a-day cable weather channel that some people thought was quite ridiculous. Who's going to watch the weather 24 hours a day? We've transformed that model into data and applications, and there we go, thank you. And then as today, what we do is we have, our CEO likes to refer to our company as a data company that just happens to have a TV station now. We have lots of different programs that you see on air. We also provide forecasts to radio stations across the country, newspapers, websites, and we maintain an extensive online presence, as you see with weather.com. Talk to you a little bit about our talk. These are pictures. It's kind of dark in there. These guys like to sit around and, we don't know if they're sleeping or working a lot of the times, but we have an escalation room here that we built. And what that is, it's a huge conference room, but it allows us a place to gather everybody if we have major incidents, so we're not on the phone in bridges. The talk runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are the Tier 1 organization for all issues, whether it's a broadcast issue, if it is a data platform issue, any of our digital products, or even our internal help desk. We monitor broadcast signals, we monitor weather.com, all of our applications. And when we have an issue, we have a catalog of about 350 different products and services that we support. We have to know when we get an issue related to those, who is the correct team to engage for resolution. And we need to know also both the team to engage to get that fixed and the customers and internal management people that need to be notified, and we use xMatters to do that. So how many people in here, I don't know if I can really see, has an iPhone with our application on it? Okay, and I'm assuming that by now everybody that has an iPhone, they're on iOS 8 or above. And at the beginning of iOS 8, the Weather Channel became the de facto weather source for the native iPhone application. And when we went live with that, we had to build a new support model for Apple. And it was really our Technology Operations Center. It was our first foray into our organization actually dealing with external customers. So every time that you go and check the weather on your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your iPad, you're actually making a API call out to Apple, you're sending it to Apple, Apple's making an API call to us. We're delivering a customized weather forecast for you where you are at that time. So that's why you might see people that say, oh, well, I'm over here and it says it's going to be 82 degrees, and the person over here with their iPhone says it's 81. What's going on with the Weather Channel? Well, at the time you requested that forecast, that was the forecast. and it changes about every 6 minutes. So you can get it caught in between those times. So, and all these API calls that are made via the Apple, but we also sell our digital properties and our data to thousands and thousands of companies that supply weather information, and we all do this via APIs. And this is what makes up part of the grand API and the billions of API calls that we have every day. So every minute counts. Our agents in the Weather Channel and our company, we have strict SLAs with our B2B and B2C customers for both uptime and notifications. Customers are notified. They have to be notified within 15 minutes of an outage, and we have to give them updates about every 30 minutes on where we are with resolution and an ETA to resolve. So by using xMatters, it really helped us to know who to contact, because we use pre-populated templates, and these are branded templates for our external customers. It's not just an email with a signature in it that says the Weather Channel. It's actually a branded message similar to we get from professional messages from other organizations that actually let us know that they're having problems with their systems. And it's significantly reduced the amount of time that it takes for an analyst to get notifications out. Monitoring is huge at the Weather Channel, especially in the TOC, or the Technology Operations Center. We have monitoring and alerting of all of our digital properties, and it's key that we recognize problems before they impact our customers. We mainly use about 6 tools, as well as alerting systems from other partners and vendors to do our monitoring. The last thing that we want to happen is to have one of our customers tell us that we have a problem with one of our platforms. And monitoring drives our operational status of all of IT. During any given day, normal weather day, we're taking probably around, from outside of the APIs, just to our digital platforms, about 100 million hits a day between the website, iPhone, Android, and iPad. So we keep an eye on that, and that's our normal status. And we predict what we're going to have in an operational call every morning. And so that's just business as usual. If we see a hurricane coming or there's a major snowstorm, we will see traffic start to ramp up, and we can compare it to what it was yesterday. And if we see it operating outside of the norm, the TOC will reach out via notification using xMatters, and this is outside the ServiceNow integration, in which we use xMatters a lot just on its own. We will put in, the first thing we send a notification, we're going into critical status. What does that mean? And we don't expect everybody to remember all the time, so we tell them we have a soft change freeze in place. Soft change freeze is no changes to production systems unless you have approval by a VP or higher. And it also, we put tier 2 teams on alert. We send them notifications to let them know that we're in critical status, and they need to be keeping an eye on monitoring systems that they use that we don't in a TOC, because they will actually go out and monitor down to the CPU level. And even though they have alerts set up, they really want to look at the infrastructure across the board to try to anticipate any problems, because more stress is being put on our systems. And then if it reaches another level, we go into severe mode. We put a hard change freeze in. Nobody can make a production change in any of the systems across the organization. The only exception might be if the CIO approves it. We send out a notification to all the IT teams, and we inform them that we have a bridge going, and that they can jump on that bridge at any time. So it's just an open bridge. If you see a problem with any system, jump on the bridge, let the TOC know. You don't have to call them, you don't have to email them. Just jump on the bridge. And we use a lot of different tools for bridges. A lot of it is Uber Conference and Google Hangouts. So it's really easy to jump on and let us know if there's a problem. And then we put the Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams on alert, and they're constantly monitoring their systems. And then every aspect of the systems are monitored. Oh, wrong way, sorry. Okay, speed. I want to talk about the integration that we did with ServiceNow. I mentioned previously in the panel discussion that we were on Remedyforce, and I've been with the Weather Channel for 2 years now. And when I got there, we were just moving from one platform to Remedyforce. And it really, I deployed Remedy, just BMC's Remedy product, for about 10 years. And I know what a headache it is to roll out a new platform. I was kind of surprised that the level of effort was pretty low to roll out Remedyforce. And we used that, and we were going strong. And then somebody came to us and said, well, we want to look at the project and portfolio management tool that ServiceNow has. And would you be interested to move over from Remedyforce to ServiceNow for the ITSM portion? And of course, I wanted to fight change. That was my first reaction. It was like, are you kidding me? No way. And then I started thinking about it, all the headaches we have with Remedyforce. I don't know if there's any users here. Hopefully no BMC reps. But and I'd used ServiceNow in the past, and I was looking at that tool at a previous company to bring in. And I was really excited about it, and so I jumped on board, and we just implemented it May 31st of this year. And the effort, the first thing we did, we brought in xMatters. And we had owned the product already for a year, and we had implemented it, and we were using it just in manual mode. But we knew we wanted to integrate it with ServiceNow. So they came in, and I think we had probably about 4 or 5 meetings via phone. We had some on-site, and they really just wanted to understand the scope of how we wanted to use the integration and what pieces we were going to use right out of the gate. And we had great conversations. And then after that, xMatters went back, and they worked on our instance. And they reached out to our admin, our xMatters admin, and our ServiceNow administrator, and really took up probably less than a day of their time. And then before we know it, within 2 weeks, the integration's built and ready to be turned on, and we tested it in our lower environments. And then when we released it on May 31st of this year, everything worked. So we really had little to do. The speed at which xMatters was able to bring this integration together with ServiceNow was pretty impressive. So they need the news now. The Weather Channel is a very fast-paced environment where data grows stale very quickly. We built a completely cloud-based platform that's very fast, highly available, and can auto-scale with CPU, memory, and disk space. And when we need to notify business stakeholders or customers, it needs to happen fast. We had a big problem in the past not knowing the correct groups to contact for different types of issues. We had 5 basic categories that we notified on. And we were just using, a local product in Atlanta, and we would have to take, if it was a broadcast issue, our TOC agent actually had to go out to an Excel spreadsheet, copy the distribution list for that broadcast issue, paste it into a notification, and then send it out. Well, there were times when it was a broadcast issue, and they would send the alerts to all the corporate technology services teams. So nobody was getting 100% accuracy on their notifications, and the TOC really heard about it when something like that happened. And so going over to xMatters, being able to leverage the templates that exist, we were able to build out scenarios using the templates and pre-populate all of those distribution lists, which really helped us not only with speed and accuracy, because we were building every notification from scratch with the old system. And now with xMatters, all of our agents, all they have to do is go in, pick the correct template, get the correct information, and it goes out. So one of the things in the ServiceNow integration that we're doing is the on-call schedules. We're starting to, with a couple groups, to get them populated and getting tickets routed from ServiceNow. The integration is there, but we're really not leveraging it to its particular potential right now. But we want to get to the point where all we have to do is give a categorization, we know what team it's get assigned to, and it goes out and reaches the on-call schedule, comes back, they respond to the ticket, we know they have it, and that way our agents in the operations center, they don't have to be looking for, or even just going into xMatters and manually looking for the right person to contact. So all that will happen, and it'll get our speed to get notifications out. And what we've seen so far, it'll cut about 15 to 20 minutes off of the time it takes us to get notifications out. Also, we're putting the responsibility on the support teams to keep their schedules up to date. One of the things we do, when I said we have critical IT status, operational status, is that the TOC puts together, everybody ramps up. They normally might have 2 sysadmins on duty during a day, they're on call overnight. Well, they'll put people, leave them if we have a major hurricane coming. They'll have sysadmin staffed around the clock. And right now, we're manually keeping up with that. And we have to publish a list every time. I know Scott is in the audience, and he's primarily responsible. He's one of the TOC leads of getting that done. So one of the other pieces of the integration that we use is how we feed the system in xMatters with all of our data. At the Weather Channel, we really didn't have a single repository of all of our data for all of our employees. And we have different types of employees. We actually have 3 different companies. The Weather Channel is part of the Weather Company, which makes up the Weather Channel, Weather Underground out in San Francisco, and WSI up in Andover, Massachusetts. So we had 3 different Active Directory systems, a couple different ERP systems. So we had to bring all this information in, and they centralized it into a single database internally. And then we have a product called Cloud Pages that our Corporate Technology Solutions team integrated. And this is your online profile. This is where people can look up who's the director of IT ops that I have to wring his neck, and they look that up and they find me, and then they come searching for me. So, and this is where we can edit our profiles, and we can put in our cell phone number. We don't put any personal information in there unless people want it. So what that does, this central repository feeds Cloud Pages feeds ServiceNow, ServiceNow feeds xMatters, excuse me. So we're going to start managing the on-call schedules. We're also using Cloud Pages for people to go in, enter their cell phone numbers, so we can actually populate outside of IT with everybody in the company, so we can leverage xMatters for our DR and business continuity. We had a small issue in our main data center maybe 2 weeks ago that we had to evacuate the building for about an hour. And So we don't have a mandate that everybody has to have their information inside of Cloud Pages yet, which is going to soon happen. So we had a lot of people run around the building. We had the fire alarm going off to make people evacuate the building. But what we hope to do is teach our CorpCom and our facilities group how to use xMatters, how to use the mobile app, how to get notifications out to all of our people. One of the things about working in the operations center at the Weather Channel, all of our agents have to be very good multitaskers. When we have maybe 6 agents on duty during the day. We only have 2 on overnight. We always have leads inside of the TOC. We have 2 leads, manager. But sometimes when we only have 2 people and we have a major incident come in, that TOC agent, they need to identify the issue. They have to check an enrollment catalog to make sure that they are getting all the right information in the ticket. It's getting fed to the right group. And then they need to notify those people. They need to open a bridge, and they have to be drafting a notification out to our stakeholders and our customers. And those are, our stakeholders are our executive leadership team, senior leadership teams that are interested in these types of notifications. A little bit about Weather Underground. It's a group of about 70 people out in San Francisco. They have a little different business model than the Weather Channel. They have, I don't know if anybody's seen a personal weather station that you can have at your house. Probably costs around $200 or so. And you can actually upload your information at your house right to Weather Underground. And they have about 100,000 of these things across the world. It's amazing the people that are really, really into weather. So they take this and they use this in their forecasting models along with the information they get from the Weather Channel. So I don't know if anybody remembers or was affected by, there was a major fiber cut that Level 3 had somewhere around San Jose about 2 months ago. And that impacted some of the products that Weather Underground has, and it had to do with some of the banners were broken on the website. And these are single-threaded pieces of the Weather Underground product that aren't deemed critical, which is why they're single-threaded. Some of the station data that comes in from these 100,000 weather stations from across the country, and then some of them, they're called WOO maps, if you've ever seen. That's an application that we also have. And so these were growing stale, and Weather Underground had never had to really reach out to any of their providers or their geek customers that we affectionately call them. So they were trying to get notifications going, and they were scrambling. So since then, we realized this was a bigger issue than we'd ever expected. So what we did is we took over notifications for them because they're a core group of developers. They might have a marketing person. They don't have HR. It's just developers and sysadmins that keep this product going and this company. And it's a really progressive company. So now we've taken over. We branded their notifications. We reach out to their customers for them. And we run all of their triage out of our operations center anyway. WSI is another company that is in the weather company. They sell aviation products. They have media products, energy, insurance. They sell different products to the government. I'll give you a quick example because I am running out of time here. They sell a product in aviation where they use weather data, and they have private carriers and major carriers that a lot of you will fly home on today, and some of their routes are being picked by WSI. It's a group of METOPS, which is meteorology operations, and they're picking the best routes based on weather data to save the carrier's fuel. And they could save, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 in fuel on a flight from maybe LA to London. So getting into managing the billions of API calls every day. So these are some of the products that we use or that we own, that we have out there on Android and iPhone and the native apps as well. And these APIs are on a cloud-based platform. It is an expandable platform as we need it. It'll spin up disk, CPU, memory as we need it. And this platform takes about 300,000 API calls a second, or about 15 billion a day. And we have 3 levels of support for these APIs. We have a standard support, which is basically a web page that shows the status of the API. We have an enhanced version where people can call in and tell us they're having a problem. And it just depends on how much they're willing to pay for the support. And then we have premium, which some of our largest customers, you probably know most of them, where they come in and they have access to developers. They have private numbers they can call us. They have email addresses, and we're under SLAs with them. So as we expand our digital presence around the world, we're adding to the growing list of customers, which means more SLAs to meet on a daily basis. The scale for us is massive. Criticality is vital, and xMatters helps us to manage all of our customers and to meet our big data SLAs. So what I'd like to say, some of the best practices that we use at the Weather Channel is we like to keep all of our tools in the cloud, working with a single platform, and getting tool sets that seamlessly integrate into the other tools. I'd like to thank you for your time. We have a few minutes for questions. My email address is up here if anybody would like to take it down, and contact me in the future.
Thank you, Michael. Do we have questions for Michael?
When you have those major events, are you able, or are you looking at technology to dynamically grow compute to address the extra load?
Yes, and all of our major API platform sits in Amazon cloud, and when we build it to auto scale, and it also has auto failover. Where there's 4 regions, 2 in the U.S., East, West, 1 in Europe, and 1 in Asia Pacific. So if we have an issue and there's an issue out west, and let's say that Amazon's having a problem, people automatically fail over as well as auto scale.